I've been smelling plastic for the past 24 hours and it smells like a garbage bag. Plastic. I've been seeing the 8th house and Scorpio keeps coming up, so I feel like you're shedding something from the subconscious mind right now. And this collective is underway to have a passage revealed to it, an opening in its path. I think it's in the throat chakra. Specifically, what I'm feeling blocked though is the root and the solar plexus. So your confidence, your ability to move forward, and your fear response to whatever's happening right now. So your advice right now is to judge less, fear less, and move your body more. The more you can just move the energy and stop worrying about where it's coming from or what it means, rather thinking more so about how can I mold it? How can I become more powerful than the energy coming in my system that is disrupting me, right? So using it to create art, moving it through exercise and stretching. It's going to shift that energy. There is this sense of powerlessness that this energy holds. I don't think the powerlessness is you though. I think the powerlessness is something coming in your system, disrupting your sense of self. And this week you should be regaining that, but it feels like it's trickling in. So there's aspects of you that are coming back online, but it's being simultaneously challenged by energies that you are still underway of reframing in your mind or rewiring subconsciously. So beliefs or the way that you think, thinking patterns, behavioral patterns, things like that. So it can manifest in your reality as like situations that are chaotic. I mean, I would say collectively we have quite a bit of those to choose from, take your pick, whatever's coming in your reality. But on top of it, it could just be little things individually that you're running into when it comes to interpersonal connections. Just words that trigger you or strange reactions to you that make you go, that's off. Something, it just seems like it's almost kismet how it's being placed in your life to shock you out of a way of thinking. And or some of you guys are just going to receive the motivation to pattern break this week, where you're finally going to just say, I'm not going to think like this anymore. I'm not going to take this action anymore. I'm going to decide to move out of this behavior into taking this action this week. I do see that where we go from the 8 of Swords to the 6 of Swords. So there's this sense of, from the interference of outside energies, using science, using the mind, using mental health, shifts in your mental health to move forward. Now, again, this is the Thoth deck, so it's very specific when it comes to the actual words. So anyway, I do see this collective moving into a pattern break this week. Let's start over. I do see this collective moving into a pattern break this week. We do have gains coming in, 9 of Pentacles. It feels like as soon as you say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to keep repeating this anymore, or I'm not going to keep waiting for this thing to happen. I'm going to make a move, or I'm going to shift my actions or reactions. And then all of a sudden, boom, here comes something, right? And I think it's going to keep trickling in little by little. Again, your job is to move and shift any kind of what's coming out with this card, futility, 7 of Swords, which normally represents deception in other decks, but in this one, this is about kind of like meaninglessness. Can you see how certain things are kind of pointless to you in the moment? How it can create a distraction, how it can be taken out of context and just like overdone or over exaggerated. There's a lot of fear narratives right now that you could feed on to distract yourself. And can you see that as a subconscious pattern to avoid what you need to be doing? And what is it that you're afraid of making that move for? Why are you afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone to get something that you actually want? There's like weighing the risk and reward becomes tedious to the point of being meaningless sometimes. And it's time to just take the risk. So here's coming in with this trump card, the art card. This is a Thoth deck, so it's a little different. But basically here we have this kind of anxiety coming. How do we shift when all this stuff is being thrown at me, and how do I work with all of this stuff? And you can see it's like she's throwing it in her pot and kind of creating and making art, and there's other things outside of her that are adding to that pot or that creation, and how she's mixing it all together. It's up to her. So take everything that's being thrown at you and kind of create with it, move with it. Everything is kind of like a gift. Here's a resource. I know you don't like it, but here's a resource, right? Work with it. Here's a challenging situation. Work with it. Add it to your repertoire, right? Make more out of it. Everything is a gift. See it like that. It's going to be a lot easier to move forward. We also have the fortune card here. So basically like the Wheel of Fortune coming in. And again, after this futility, after creating this art with this futility, fortune coming in, the Wheel of Fortune here, being a 10 card, again, this is about a completion. So while it is kind of like a wild card simultaneously, because after you complete something, here comes a whole new beginning. So there's a little bit of unexpected energy here. We don't quite know exactly what we're going to get. That's the risk. We don't exactly know what's going to come after we rip that Band-Aid off and take that step into the unknown. But here we have a Four of Swords, a truce. So definitely good news, and definitely some kind of rebalancing that happens when you take that step out of your comfort zone, and when you rip that Band-Aid off, and when you choose that thing that maybe you're kind of holding back from, but it's going to be for your best interest if you just do it. The only challenge here is, I would say, restriction of your mind more than anything. We have the Devil card and the Three of Swords, sorrow here. And again, restrictions and heartbreak, but more so the way we think of things. Devastation in the way we're thinking. Sorrow in the way we're thinking. Are you truly suffering, or is the mind playing tricks on you? I think this is kind of where we've got to come to this, exactly because underneath that we have Four of Wands, completion here. Again, a completion card, but this one being about a middle of the road. We've kind of met with something in the middle of the road here on the way to completion. We've realized, oh, that's not exactly what I thought it was, but something is bringing you some kind of, but we also, again, over here, we've got a 10 of Wands. Oh, and the Lovers underneath it. Yeah, so we definitely are going through a completion stage with a relationship, a soul contract, a person, or just between ourselves, our masculine and feminine sides, seeing life differently. I feel like this is maybe you running into someone, or you kind of having a conversation that has been long, needed and long awaited, and there's this kind of like coming to terms with something and seeing something from a new perspective that allows you to finally move on in a way you haven't before. This is going to allow you to pattern break. This is going to allow you to shift your perspective, choose a different movement forward than you have before. And all of a sudden you turn the Wheel of Fortune in your favor, you have some gains coming in, and little by little things start moving in your favor, way more than you could have ever expected. And all it takes is one step out of your comfort zone. So you have to start moving here. And again, the less you judge and the less you fear, the easier it's going to be to move and to make these necessary steps forward. So massive hot confirmation as I say that. Thank you, universe. As we move into this week, I'm also offering a psychic defense class. It is going to be 1.5 to 2 hours of lecture, discussion, and Q&A question and answer session here at the end. So $55 for that on my website and or my MindGeek EDU app. Check it out. I will have the tickets up on Monday for purchase. So go ahead and let me know in the comments. Do you have any specific questions? What is it that you feel challenged by? Specifically right now, again, the collective moving through some challenging blocks in the lower chakras, but they're not really blocks. You're ascending. You're reaching higher levels of consciousness. And so as above, so below. You must shed externally, or you must shed from the physical body and the outer layers of self, the ways in which we move from the energy centers in the outer world in those lower chakras. We must shift those dynamics in order to take on more and more and more in the upper chakras, in our psychic gifts, in our consciousness, in the way we think, in the way we perceive the world. That all has to work hand in hand with our body, our physical connection, our interpersonal connection, how we move, how we take action, how we provide security and safety for ourselves. So again, there's very much this rebalancing effect going on within the collective right now, no matter where you are on your journey, whether it just be healing or whether it be psychic gift development or ascension. So know that you're not crazy if you feel a little bit spirally in the mind, a little bit out of body, or a little bit just kind of just confused and disheveled right now. It's natural process as you go through these higher levels of ascension. I even feel the energy coming through as I read for the collective and channel this energy. It does feel hard to breathe. It feels hard to ground. It feels hard to level the anxiety that I'm taking on. So I will say this, breathe, continue to work on breath work, continue to ground, and again, understand that the more you express your art, your creativeness, or the more you speak your truth or speak out for yourself, the easier it's going to be to kind of like ground all of this in. But I do think that that's going to require some stillness in order to start doing. So find some stillness in your mind, in your practice, to work through whatever's causing judgment, work through whatever's causing fear. Move your body a little bit, do some creative work, and then step out of your comfort zone. That is your key for this week. If you have any questions about personal sessions, check out my website, link in bio, or email me intuitivemindgeek@gmail.com.